you're the host as you always are.
We're good to
And
go.
so I see, I believe all of the members of my regional team are here. There is Christina Ford, there is Andrea Oxford, Jaime Gonzalez, Tere Cardenas, who's sitting next to me. Roberto, I think, is on the line as well. So welcome everyone. And Christina, you can turn on the recorder if you want.
Okay. You're good.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Winner Circle of May 15, 2020. Our guest speaker today is Dario Castiglia, our friend from Remax, Italy, who has a lot to share with us. Before we start with Dario, there are several people that I would like to welcome. Welcome Shona Gilbert, VP of Remax Global Department at the Headquarters Office. Also, welcome Jan Repa, Area Vice President. He is our main contact and headquarters. We're his clients. So Jan is our main point of contact. Welcome. I hope I'm not missing anyone else. But we also have a group of special people on the line. They are our guests. They are still not affiliated with Remax, but they are looking into it. We're very glad that you're checking us out. Please learn as much as you can. Consider us your tribe. At Remax, we cannot manufacture masks and respirators. However, we can provide training, support. We're your tribe. You're not alone. So consider joining us. We have a lot to offer, really. I cannot imagine my life without Remax during this quarantine. That would be very, very lonely, really. With that being said, we have outstanding news to share with you. It is that during the month of April, in which most of our region was under quarantine. So all of the month of April, we listed 363 new properties, which is amazing. Guys, you're doing the impossible. You are having fun doing the impossible. That's what Walt Disney said. He said, it's fun to do the impossible, and you're doing it, but that's not only it. There is something more important, because these are listings, okay? These are properties that we listed, which is good. That's the starting point. But the main part is that last month, 58 agents closed transactions, and they earned close to $700,000 almost. So that is amazing. The average income for these 58 agents was close to $12,000. Shout out, big kudos for you guys. You're making it happen during the quarantine. So we're very proud of you. You're making us look good, and you're providing a very valuable service. Also, I want to give you a heads up, our speakers for the next Winner Circles, because you suggested and we listened. Our speakers for the next Winner Circle will be on May 22nd, James Bovell and Kim Lon from Remax Cayman Islands. Most of you, or many of you, know them. They're amazing business people. On May 29, we're going to have Shona Gilbert, who is on the line this time. She will be our speaker May 29. Also, during June 5th, also by popular demand, John Turley will be back with us. He's co-owner of Remax Caribbean and Central America. In other words, he is my partner in all of this. Okay, Dario, we're ready for you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So guys, I would recommend that you turn on the speaker view. There is a button at the top of your screen. It says speaker view, so you can see Dario, you know, in a bigger screen and everybody else in the smaller screens. Dario, good morning. How are you doing, my friend?
Very good. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for inviting me over to your island. And first of all, I want to say hello also to Shauna, Jan, and I think I saw also James, because you know, you have to know that James and I throw the best parties at R4. And so we're good friends for a while, and I always love to mingle with the Caribbean people. As I said, they're full of life. You come from places where the sun shines all the time, and yes, every once in a while there's also a hurricane, but that's what we're getting now here. So it's like a hurricane that's just going through Europe. So we're getting, you know, we got hit pretty badly, and I think more than you. You know, we were talking about with Ricardo and saying obviously we got hit pretty hard with this virus, and you know, we've had a lot of people that died, unfortunately. You know, only in Italy we were like with 30,000 people who unfortunately passed away because of this virus. And I know in the Caribbean is less affected than obviously countries in Europe or even the States right now. But you know, I understand that this is you know, there's two viruses. There is the actual virus itself, and there is the virus of fear of the virus, which is gone through throughout the globe. And then, you know, the other side effect obviously is that
Oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
On tourism, and obviously you live on tourism from people that come from countries where they've been affected. So this is obviously okay.
Yes,
Let's see if that's better.
We can hear you well, and
Can
we
you?
can see your picture, not your video. We can see your picture though.
Okay. Can you see me better now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Now we see
Can you
your
hear me
video.
now?
Yes, we see your video, and we can hear you well also.
Okay, I switched I went from the Wi-Fi to the actual, you know, G4 connection, and it's better.
Awesome.
Can you see me, Ricardo?
Yeah, you're doing well.
Okay. Did you miss anything I said?
Yes, we missed, since you say, hi, my name is Dario.
No. You're kidding me.
No, just kidding. No, it's only the last part when you described the people that, you know, had passed very unfortunately.
Yes,
and
fortunately. Yeah. Well, you know, we're fine. I'm fine, and hope you're all fine. And this is the first thing that I always, you know, ask, because you never know how we've been affected by this. In Italy, we're starting to come out of the lockdown. We've been in a lockdown for over 9 weeks now, and gradually it's been lifted. But not every business is back and running. And you know, I see this as you know, the few things that I see in all of this is you know, for our business, for us as realtors, I see a lot of opportunities. We are lucky. We are lucky because our business, yes, it's probably been affected. Yes, we've been closed down for a while. We were not an essential business for several weeks. But we're also a business that is very resilient. And we're able to come back and recoup all the time lost. And there's two ways of you know, handling a change like, or a situation like this one here. Some people have put their head under the sand and waited for the hurricane or for this tsunami to blow by, and some other people instead saw the opportunities that this situation is bringing to the table, and they've embraced it and are coming out of this crisis a lot stronger than before. One thing that I see as an amazing opportunity is that everybody throughout the world has kind of accelerated its progress in becoming more digital, more technologically advanced. And I understand, you know, you're in your countries, and you have several countries, 34 countries, all throughout the Caribbean, and some of them are very, very small with small population. But you know, you're dealing with people who are coming from countries like the United States of America, from Canada, from Italy, from Europe, a lot of you know, people from France, from England, from everywhere else. And you have to understand what's going on here, what's going on in America, in order to be able to better serve clients who are coming from those areas and will be used to the change much more perhaps than you had to get used to. The transformation that we are having over here is incredible. We're just being, you know, and not everybody's doing this, but especially Remax agents and people who are innovative like us have been taking this opportunity to become more productive. We're lucky because, as I said, we're able to start working fairly quickly. We were one of the first sector of the industry to be opened up, because we work without really big groups of people. We don't run a restaurant. We don't run you know, an airplane, an airline company. We don't run events. We don't run anything that puts a lot of people together in one place. So we are able to really operate and continue working and be able to sell homes. And homes is something that, especially in this moment, home has really gained a different significance over this last 2 months. Home has become synonymous of safety, of security, of protection. And I feel that you know, throughout the world, the home has been the place where we feel really protected. So owning a home has become even more important than before. Owning your own space has become more important than before. You know, they say that millennials were not going to appreciate buying a home or owning a home as much as probably the baby boomers, you know, on my generation or Ricardo's generations. Well, this is really changing the paradigm once again, because everybody has been affected in a way that, you know, and this is a global event, obviously, in a way that will change the perspective for the future. So having your home and being able to live well in your home and have the space, you know, like have a terrace, have a balcony, have a beach, have a garden, has become much more important. That's what we're seeing in our country. People are really reevaluating the value of a home. And so we're very fortunate to be in this business, because obviously we will have demand for homes, and we will have people who will want to improve their homes, and therefore, you know, help our business grow even further. Obviously, we have to deal also with a financial economic crisis because of the virus, not because we had a financial crisis like in 2008 or 2009, but this is the consequence of the inactivity that unfortunately a lot of the countries had to endure. So a lot of businesses, as I said, are not as fortunate as ours, and they're probably either closing down or they've been put in a situation where obviously their cash flow is diminished significantly. And that will create, obviously, some people who may have to sell for distress reasons, and some who may not be able to afford a home anymore and will have to probably scale down and go to a rental property. But to us, the important thing, to our business, the important thing is there is movement. And this situation, this crisis is bringing movement. how is our business changing? How is our work changing? Well, right now, what we see is that we're able to make use of video calls like this one, video chatting with people like never before. I mean, not that this technology is new. Zoom existed before COVID-19. Zoom existed even last year. But did we ever think of meeting with a tool like this? Did we ever think, Ricardo, that we could do something like we are doing right now? No, we never really thought about it. Although we know each other for what, 20 years?
Yes, and now, yeah, we have known each other for 20 years, and now we're closer than ever, now that we cannot travel.
Imagine that, imagine that. And, you know, this means that, you know, we had this technology on the side, but we all decided that we were so entrenched in our tradition, in our culture of meeting people, of shaking hands, of hugging each other, that we would have preferred to see Ricardo or speak to Ricardo at the convention rather than any other event. Okay, but not in this mode. And now that we've all discovered this, and not only us, but also our clients are discovering this. Okay, this is what we have to use for the future, because this technology is actually making us discover that we can become more efficient, and is still very, very effective as well, because you can see my face, you can see my expression, you can see if I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm happy. You can read me, and you know, you can do that with your clients and qualify your clients even if they're miles away or kilometers away, whatever you're using. Imagine in your scenario, I mean, I can imagine the Caribbeans being obviously with you all throughout those little islands, and having clients that are sometimes hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. How amazing this will transform your work. It's going to be making it so much more effective, being able to not only engage people on a video call like this, but then taking them on a virtual tour of the homes, showing them through, you know, we've done even, digital open houses. And I know you probably are doing the same thing. You're walking people throughout the house on a video call. Imagine that, okay? And now it's become more acceptable by anybody to see a house this way, because we're kind of forced to do it. We can't travel. You know, we can't travel from country to country without probably getting into a quarantine, and the risk of being quarantined is very strong right now. I think that as an Italian, I cannot travel to the States. I can't travel to one of your countries without, mind you, I would like to be put in a quarantine in some of your islands right now. So I may just do that and spend some days over there locked up on one of your beaches. But aside from that, I think that it has become so important to deal this way. And we feel the same way here in Italy. Being able to qualify better the clients and make sure that we don't make too many visits on a listing, but bring only the ones that have seen already the property so well that eventually they may want to see it physically. Yes, they may, okay? But I can tell you, we've done sales also without showing the listing, without showing the home. Not very many, true, but we've done some sales also that way. And you know, people say, well, you can't sell a house without showing it physically. I tell you, you know, we've done that many times as realtors. You know, when we sold a lot of homes without even showing the homes, when we sell new homes, whenever we sell a new project, many times we sell the project on paper. We just show the renderings. We show now videos. We show you know, all the details of the house, and people buy without seeing the house. Now, on a used home, that's a little more difficult, and the reason is because the house is not new, and there may be some defects, some things that need fixing, or some problem with the house because it's probably older. So the element here that we have to work on is trust. If you can get the trust of your buyers, if you can get the trust of your clients, then you're going to be able to sell them a house without even showing it to him physically. And one thing that I learned over these past few weeks, especially talking to people also from around the world, because, you know, the lucky thing of being in RE/MAX is that you're connected to people from everywhere, you know, from China to Alaska to you know, Chile or whatever, okay, is that you get ideas and you apply them then locally. And one thing I learned from a Canadian agent in British Columbia, who sold a house without ever meeting the buyers or ever meeting never, not even the buyers had even seen the house, but sold the house. It was that he showed not only the beautiful things of this house that he was selling, but he showed the bad things of this house, the things that needed fixing, as if he was buying it himself. Because when you buy a house, you know, obviously you buy a house because you like it, obviously because it's beautiful and it's got beautiful view, it's everything else, but you'll also go and try and find what's wrong with the house. Because you want to make sure that you're not getting into something that could be a lemon, you know, it could be a problem, okay? So you may go and look under the carpet to see whether the floor is okay. You may move a piece of furniture to see if the wall is okay. You may go up on the roof to see if the roof needs fixing, and so forth and so on. So one way to conquer the trust of your clients is showing them exactly those things. Showing them like you were buying it yourself, putting yourself in their shoes. And again, we go back to trust, empathy, being able to put yourself in someone's shoes. And these things are proving once again, especially in a moment like this, that technology alone will not do the job. Technology alone will not be able to sell homes. This is a great news. I think this is the best news we can get out of all this. You know, we've been debating for so many years over whether machines, especially with the new artificial intelligence and the new machine learning that is going on, we've been debating whether these machines would eventually replace us. We've been debating whether the new prop techs, you know, property technology companies, right, would automate every process of the buy and selling of a home. Well, the news is they can't, because if they could, they would be selling homes right now instead of us, and they're not. Homes throughout the world are not being sold at the rate that were sold prior to COVID. They're not, because we're not able to show homes. We're not able to work. So it means that the market needs us to move these homes. And that's great news. That's an amazing news. It's a win over technology. But at the same time, we need to embrace technology if we want to keep up with the times, and especially if we want to beat our competition, because not everybody is doing what we're doing right now. Not everybody is engaging in technology like we're doing. I see it. I see it in my country. I see it in throughout the world. When we engage with other people from other industries or from other companies, they're not as they haven't mastered these technologies like we're doing. We're getting so used to it. I become a professional Zoomer. Ricardo was already a very good. He's always been very much on video even before. So, And I guess out of necessity, because obviously running a region with so many countries and so dispersed throughout the Caribbeans, he was already ahead of the game. But now this is becoming more common, more customary for more and more agents. But not everybody, as I say. So this is an opportunity to make the difference and be a step ahead of the competition. Also because to be able to work this way, you have to invest in education, you have to invest in the tools, and all these things don't come cheap. You know, you have to invest, and only a group or a company like ours, or I'm sure there's other companies that I'm doing fairly well, but you know, we're kind of ahead of the pack on this, and I tell you, in my market here in Italy, there's realtors who opened up their office last few days, and they think the world is the same as before. It's not. It's changed, and we have to reap the benefit of this change. Like every crisis that comes, we have to find the opportunities that those crises bring. They usually bring change. We feel uncomfortable because changing our ways of doing is always uncomfortable. We have to get out of our comfort zone, and that's that takes an effort on our side. And we kind of, everybody would like to perhaps not change so often and just lay back a little bit. But in this moment, we have to embrace change. We have to embrace the way it's the new way of working, the new normal, as they call it. And also, you have to be respectful of the people that are going to come to your places, to your countries. As I said, you're a very tourist-oriented region, and quite like us, obviously. But you even more so rely on that for your business, for your real estate business, for your economy. And you have to deal with people who are coming from different countries where this has been hitting hard and has been changing the way they want to deal with people, and they want to, especially in this moment, they want to do things in a safe way. They have to respect that. So I think that this opens up a lot of opportunity to increase our productivity. This is not gonna go away. We're gonna keep communicating this way in the future, even after this pandemic is over. And I think that, I know Shauna is online, and, we've had many meetings in Denver, and we had to travel and everything else. And I think that a lot of these meetings will eventually be done this way, and they're just as effective as traveling and getting together. And sure, is it ever going to be replacing the joy of seeing each other? No, absolutely. I think that we will want to meet again and shake hands and hug each other, because we're human beings. Okay. But this is going to complement our activities, complement our work, and we have to become good at it. Ricardo, do you have any questions on that?
Thank you, Dario. Thank you, Dario. I think you have given us a lot of meat that we need to digest. Christina will be in charge of the questions, so I'm going to turn it over to Christina, who has kept an eye on the chat. I understand that several people have asked several questions. Dario, before we go to Christina, please remember in our audience, we have several members that are also skippers, and they love sailboats and all of that. So some of them are asking, they want to see a picture of your sailboat. Okay. I feel that you have taken us through a time machine.
Did I send you a picture of my sailboat?
No, I don't think you did. So feel free to. And I think while you do that, I feel that you have taken us through a time machine, because Italy is several weeks ahead of the Caribbean and Central America in all of these quarantine things. And you have given us a glimpse of the future, which we truly appreciate. Let us know when you're ready to to show your picture or if you're able.
Yes, you know, I'm trying to find, it looks like there's one person that's unmuted and I'm trying to find them, but I don't know who it is. There's some
Okay.
background noise. So Dario, do you think that things will ever go back to normal, quote unquote, in the real estate world?
I think that
Diga mas akin nag-spark.
define normal. If you're saying we're gonna go back to the way it was, I say no. No, we're not gonna go back to the way it was, exactly the way it was. I think that this event has forever changed, has had a very strong impact on everybody. Not only not only for health reasons or for financial reasons, but also for psychological reasons. It has changed our perspective on the way we do business, on the way we are able to even socialize. It's changed the perspective with the way we communicate. And I think that we are seeing the benefits of this, and we won't let go of these benefits, at least the ones who have experience. Now, there's going to be people who were just maybe a little oblivious to this, but you know, especially to the technology side. But you know, I can tell you, you know, I got my aunt. She's 82. You know, obviously, how much has she been affected by this? Not very much. But for young people, millennials, you know, my kids, myself, people in the workforce, yes, there's been an effect that will change. Companies are reevaluating the benefits of smart working, of remote working, as we call it. Okay. You know, it will affect the way companies will invest, the way we build the homes, the way we are going to create offices. It'll affect everything, because what's happened, you know, we've come to the realization that what's happened could happen again. And I don't wish it, obviously. But, you know, as this has happened now, who says that it won't happen in 10 years from now, or 8 years from now, or 12 years from now, with something even more different, more difficult to deal with? I don't know. Nobody knows. But this has given us a realization that the impossible happened. You know, I at the beginning, I felt like I was in a movie, in one of those, you know, catastrophe movies. And it was like surreal. This is the expression that many people used over this past few weeks. It felt surreal. So not real. Something that we can understand, but it's happened. So I think we won't never go back to what it was before, and we call it a new normal. So we'll get used to it. But you know, I say obviously right now we are very careful, and this situation will end when there's going to be a cure or vaccine. So it's not that we're going to be walking around with masks all the time, but even after that, there will be a lot of things that will have changed in the meantime.
Dario, I feel that you are neither optimist nor pessimist. You are what Brian Buffini calls triumphant realist. Triumphant realist means that when you say triumphant, well, in order to be a triumph, there must be a battle first. And that's exactly what you're acknowledging. But in the end, we will triumph, we will succeed. You're being very, yes, we appreciate that. You're being very realistic. It's not just rah, rah, rah. Everything is fine. No, it's not like that. But in the end, we will succeed if we do the right things. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Guys, I had a similar challenge many years ago when I was living in El Salvador with my family. We went through a terrible civil war. that killed thousands of people and lasted 12 years. I'm not saying that this is going to last 12 years, but that in that occasion, it did last 12 years. And there was a danger of dying. However, life continued. And I remember that probably the most interesting thing that I remember of all of this is Terry, my wife, you know, we were both selling houses at that time, and she was going to a closing during the Civil War. And there was shootings and bombs and kidnappings, not all the time, but every week. You never, oh, please mute your microphone, guys. So, there were shootings and bombs and all of that. However, life continued and we were selling real estate all the time. Well, one time Terry was going to a closing and a shooting started and she was right in the middle of it. And there was no way back. So you know what she did? She grabbed a white handkerchief or white towel or anything. And then she continued to drive with one hand and she was waving the white flag out the window, showing everybody that, hey, I'm not part of this shooting. Leave me alone. Don't shoot at me. And then she went to the closing and they closed the deal. The reason I'm describing this to you is not to scare you, but to tell you, guys, we will succeed. We will triumph. Yes, there will be risk, but at the end of the day, life will continue. Nobody's better prepared than we are to succeed. So triumphant realism, I really like that. Dario, a couple of things is.
Ricardo, there's a question from Darren Doyle in Panama, if we could address that one.
Go ahead, please.
So Darren asks, Dario, do you think your offices could become even more profitable due to the new skills learned, like virtual meetings and showings, like cutting down overhead and travel expenses? Oh, hang on. Sorry, you were muted.
By the way, I can share, after I answer this, I can share a picture of my boat.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. Yes, indeed. I believe that, I'm very optimistic. I'm very positive, let's put it this way, about our future. I think that the fact that we're going to be into a new normal is not negative. It's positive. I mean, the new normal is going to be an era where our job, our work is even going to be more important. And we're going to be able to cut down on some expenses and make our job a lot more productive. Yes, I believe that. We're going to cut down on cost of transport. We're going to be able to engage with people in a different way. It's just, actually, 8 years ago, we had 2012 in Italy. We were in the middle of our recession because we had a very long recession in Italy. We had a recession in 2008, and then we had another one, a double dip in 2011. And 2011 was even worse than 2008 for us here in Italy. And in 2012, we brought Tom Ferry. I don't know how many of you know Tom Ferry. So we brought Tom Ferry to Italy, and in 2012, 8 years ago. And what he said in his speech that he did here in Italy at our convention, he said, the future is video. The future is video. He says, Google bought YouTube, not for anything, but because it's the future. Did we pay attention to him? A little bit, not much. 8 years later, we say, well, it is video, but we didn't understand it. And, we're kind of reticent. Getting on a video takes a little bit of you getting used to it. It's not that easy. We're very critical of ourselves. We think, oh, well, we don't look that good, or I look stupid in video, or I don't want to expose myself that much, or, I feel I'm better protected if I'm just on a phone call, but on video, it's not that easy, Now we were forced to. See, this has forced everybody to do this. So you either do it or you're out of it. And this is going to, you know, when you do something for over 30 days, somebody says that it takes 30 days to learn a new habit, you know, and, you know, we've done it for 9 weeks. It's become normal now for us to do this. I can't, it's like something that I discovered and I trained for. And not only me, but many people have done this. So I think that this will give us huge opportunities. I'm gonna show you my video, my screen.
Yes, of course. And then I have a question from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also from St. Lucia. I will combine both questions, but let's take a look at your boat. That's the best part.
I don't think I have the possibility to share the screen. Maybe you have to allow me.
Give me a second, please. Christina, you're the host. Can you?
Yes, Dario, is it the one that you just sent in the chat, in the WhatsApp?
Yes, yes, I sent them on the.
Okay, give me
chat.
1
Yes.
second.
If you can show it.
Okay, while Christina does that, I will combine two questions in one. It's questions from St. Lucia and from St. Vincent, and it is about. Ooh, wow, man, look at that! I have seen it before. It's a beautiful boat. It is a very beautiful boat.
Yeah, that was a windy day.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. Okay, so the question that
and that's me. That's me at the helm down there.
Oh, really? That's amazing. Where was this picture taken?
It was taken in the Mediterranean. We were in a regatta. We were doing a regatta, and it was a windy day. So we're just sailing. You know, you see the mainsail is down a bit because it was really windy.
Nice. That's awesome. And wow, look at that. I really like that you're displaying the Remax collection and the Remax balloon there, and all with the new branding.
Yes.
It's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, yeah.
Dario, you make us all.
Actually, I just had a new sale coming up, and it's gonna, Shauna, I swear, the balloon is gonna be red, white, and blue.
All right. So the question that we have is about logistics a little bit, because remember that in many of our countries, I don't know if it was the case in Italy, DocuSign is not allowed. You have to show up and sign in front of someone. So how do you manage that? Also, the other part of the question is, what about the physical layout of the offices? Have you guys modified your offices to accommodate the new normal, or how does this work?
Okay, well, even before COVID-19, we were moving towards digitalizing everything. We were progressing in that. We acquired for instance, a educational platform in order to give out, all training. And you have to understand, we're not using obviously that much the LLC platform because our people don't speak English that well, or there isn't that many people who speak English. So we have to do some things ourselves. But otherwise, if you have that platform, that's great. You have it already. Obviously, there were certain things that we didn't have yet, like digital signature is also something new in our country. And DocuSign, for instance, was not approved by our government to be used in our country, DocuSign. But there is some local companies that were approved by the government in order to get these digital signatures. And we've done some vendor deals in the last couple of months in order to get our agents the possibility of signing documents online. Yes, okay. We have obviously listing agreements and offer agreements online, and they're editable, so they can use them, and they can, you don't even need to print them in order to sign them. we've basically put everything online except the notarization. We unfortunately still have a very traditional way. Our country is very bureaucratic and in some ways backwards. Okay, especially the public, the government offices. So you still need to go to a notary in order to finalize the purchase of a house, and that cannot be done online.
Uh-huh. Agree. Okay, well, thank you.
And what was the second question you had?
The physical layout of the offices, has that been modified?
What's happening is that obviously companies are rethinking their spaces. Okay, now you have to understand that real estate agents are not people who stay in the office that long. Actually, a real estate agent who stays in the office all day, well, that's not a good real estate agent. I'm sorry. You need to be out, you need to be about, you need to be showing homes, you need to be talking to people and so forth. And most agents are on the go all the time. So offices don't need to be bigger in order to perhaps respect, distancing. But at the same time, they will still be needed. What's going on is our brokers are thinking about, being able to create virtual rooms, like places like meeting rooms, where you actually have screens, you have perhaps those Oculus type of, those Oculus things to do immersive reality. And therefore, what I'm saying is the physical office will remain because it is a point of reference for clients. But certainly, it will. People will be more and more working from remote, like probably in the States already they're doing. But you have to understand we're not at the same pace as the United States of America. We're behind that in many aspects of use of the technology and use of remote working. Yes, and also offices will probably be smaller with in proportion to the number of agents they will have. So they won't need 400 square meters to have 50 agents, but they'll be able to do it with smaller offices that will just concentrate on the reception, the welcoming of clients.
Okay, we're ready for another question. So I would like to put things in perspective a little bit. The population of Italy, the entire country of Italy, is similar to the population of our region, Caribbean and Central America. Now, very, very similar, close to 60 million people. Is this correct, Dario? What's the population of Italy?
60 million, 59.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. Very, very similar to what we have. Now, in the Caribbean and Central America, we have 500 agents, but in Italy, they have 10 times as many. They have 4,000 agents. And of course, you can argue all day long, but I don't like to argue. I don't like to look for excuses. I say we want to have a network as strong as the one that they have in Italy. As a matter of fact, we have many pros. We have many advantages. We have many strengths that they don't have in Italy. We are America's backyard. And we have so many good things to talk about. Dario, about the development of the network. Why is it important to have so many agents and so many offices? Who benefits from this? Can you share? Because what we're seeing is everybody wants us to grow, but not in their city. Okay. So what are your thoughts about this?
Well, it's funny because it's true. Well, I believe the more the merrier for everybody, but it is a concept that many people feel a little uneasy with. What I'm saying is that everybody would like to be the exclusive king of their own island. Okay. But, you know, if you are by yourself, you're missing out on so many opportunities of growth that is unbelievable. We cooperate, and I believe you cooperate too on listings, correct? So if you cooperate, then, you know, if we were not cooperating, I can understand it, that everybody would be not a competitor, but the enemy. But because we are cooperating, the more people you have and around you, the more opportunities you have for your own clients to, you know, to meet, to find the home that he likes or she likes. So I think that the more people are wearing the same shirt, like, you know, they have the same brand, okay, the more brand awareness there is in a place, and the more people are willing to go to that brand, because the perception, you know, is of a company that is large, that is big, and people want to work with good companies that are well known, companies that have a good reputation, but they're also big, you know. So having said that, being you know, everybody should help their brokers in getting more people to their office, because it'll increase the opportunities for everybody. I mean, it's a matter of fact that the average income of agents in larger offices increases. If there is more agents in one area, everybody's income rises, because there's more transactions happening, because of more cooperation and more brand awareness. So it's a given that the more the merrier for everybody, and really everybody wins. So, you know, how do you determine how many should we be? Well, it's a matter of looking at your market share. You know, you can see how many homes are being sold. And if we're not near 30% market share, then we're not near the number of people that are needed in that area. And 30 would be a starting point. But there's places around the world where offices have 50% market share, 60%. Why not 100? You know, nobody says that you shouldn't have 100% market share in an area. I don't think that there is a limit to what you can get. So I say, until you get to 100, well, there's lots of room still. And, you know, it's true. It's true. I mean, we have some small towns in Italy where we have basically 100% market share. Like, there's, you know, they've killed everybody. I mean, they recruited the agents that were small towns, you know, like maybe 10,000 people, something like that. So they're really small towns, and it's a little easier in a small town to conquer your market share than in a bigger country, obviously.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And, you know, that sheds a lot of light into this conversation. Thank you. And we're running out of time. We will wrap up in a moment. I would like to bring to your attention that that's the reason why we want to grow, guys. It's good for everyone. Forget about Ricardo. It's not about me. It's not about Dave Liniger. It's about our agents. The more, the merrier. And they deserve having a strong network. And because a strong network allows them to do more business, because we cooperate. I would much rather have people join our network and be part of RE/MAX than compete against them because they have a different brand or they have. So it's good for everyone.
See, one more thing, Ricardo, that I want to say in that is, you know, we are all fearful of, you know, we feel that if there's another agent that is coming into our area, he's going to take listings from us, okay? Or if another broker is coming in our area, is going to take agents from us, okay? This is the fear that we have, okay? Well, the fear is wrong-footed, because when another agent, the market is big, it's big enough for everybody, okay? Now, if another agent gets a listing that I could not get, and what happens is sometimes people, because this is a people's to people's business, okay? There's people who will want to give me the listing, okay? And some other people that will not give me the listing, but would rather give it to Ricardo, okay? Why? Because Ricardo maybe speaks Spanish and I don't. I do, but let's pretend I don't. Because Ricardo is better looking than me, or because Ricardo is more funny than me. There is empathy, there is a relationship, there is a rapport. I may not be as diligent as Ricardo, and I may not have called this person enough times to convince him to give me the listing. Ricardo did, so he's a little better than me. But if he gets the listing, he puts it in the pot. He puts it in the Remax pot. And that allows me to cooperate and sell that listing. So that brings me business that I missed out and maybe the competition would have taken from me. The same thing goes for the broker. You know, we attract our own kind, and we can't recruit every single agent in the area. There may be people who will not want to work with us. I say we are not liked by everybody. You have to understand that. It's normal. You know, if we get a 50% rating, it's a big success, okay? Maybe we don't even get that. We get a 30% rating, 40% rating. So what's happening to the rest of the market? The other 70% of the people, sorry, that's my 70% of the people, 70% of the people who don't want to work with me, but would want to work with Remax, okay? So if those people get taken by one of our other brokers, okay, they will be cooperating with my agents and do deals.
Agree.
Just
Dario,
1 second.
your dog wants to be on camera, I
I
think.
was just gonna say, now we got to take a look at that little doggy.
And then we're
Oh,
gonna
look. What a cutie.
Okay? You understand what I'm saying? I was saying, you know, so if I have another broker who is, I know it's very loud as such a small dog, but that's why he's loud, because he's small, so he needs to pretend he's big. So even a broker in my area who's gonna recruit agents, yes, he will contact probably the same people, but some people will choose me because it's Dario, and some people will choose Ricardo because it's Ricardo. And I'm happy if some people will not choose me and choose Ricardo, because at least they're choosing to be in the network and they become a brand ambassador. They become the brand that I have. And they create, you know, opportunities for my own people to cooperate. So in the end, it's still again win-win.
Agree. Thank you very much. Dario, with that, we're going to wrap up. Guys, thank you very much for all of your questions. They are very valuable. I apologize if we left a few questions that we didn't address, but we did the best we could. Dario, this was amazing. Thank you again. Shauna, Jan, everybody, thank you. This is
thank you, Ricardo.
Thank
you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Favorite time of the day.
Thanks, guys. Great to see everyone.
Thanks, Ricardo.
Bye, guys.
Hey,
bye,
thank
everyone.
you
Bye,
to everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
Shauna.
you. Thank you,
Adios.
Dario. It's excellent.
Adios, adios.
Bye, Ricardo. Bye, Team CCA.
Bye,
Bye,
Shauna.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Shona.
Thank you, Shona.
Teresa, que bella.
Nice to see you, Terry. Hey, Evaristo.
Hola.
Hola.
You look wonderful today, Shona. Like
Oh.
refreshed.
Oh, like unlike normal.
Yeah. No. It's
Probably
the
the
t-shirt.
camera, the camera. You
It's
see
the
the
t-shirt.
I am. Yes, I'm in your t-shirt.
Yeah.
Andrea, no picture today?
No, no picture today.
camera. My hair is ugly, that's fine.
It takes too much time to get everybody, so it'll just be a picture of Dario this week. All right, guys. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.
You
Bye.
too, guys.
Bye.
Happy weekend.